Hello, Bill Clodsey here, starting up a Vintage Masters draft. Available online only. These drafts can house the Power 9 at a special improved rarity. I think the old original Alpha borders are back. We don't get any of that in this pack though, we get Tradewind Rider instead. Kind of a cool effect, can take over a game. I don't know how many ways there are to untap creatures, but pretty much bouncing any permanent, so like lands and stuff too, can get extremely strong. Try that out here. Yeah, we know. It's only up for a week. And it's a neat format. Creatures are a little weaker than usual, so things like Earn Him Djinn earn a good place in your deck. And then card advantage is at a premium. The removal is good. The counter magic is way above rate for what you're used to. Cloud of Fairies, love this card. And Lightning Rift. Whenever a player cycles a card, you may pay 1. If you do, 2 damage to target creature or player. That's a solid one. I like Scrivenger too. There's a lot of neat things you can do with that. But this early, we can take a Lightning Rift and see if we can build around it. Let's see, return target permanent to its owner's hand. You can even return your own stuff if it's worth it, but there's also the cycle of lands with cycling, and yeah, it's not too bad to shock some things with that. I'm going to go with Lightning Rift here. It really is a nice build around effect, and we can follow that up. Hermit Druid is pretty nice if you can take advantage of your graveyard. Symbiotic Worm, not a bad thing to ramp into. Dark Hatchling, a fine 2-for-1. Just a 3/3 flyer. Even expensive like it is, it's actually a pretty good rate for this format. And Killer Whale does its thing. I mean, it blocks three flyers and gets in there for some attacks. Cards like this are pretty good. Art is stunning. I'm gonna go with the Lonely Sandbar here to follow up what we started with. It doesn't look like there's much blue left in this pack, but who knows? There's definitely not much red left in the pack either. But we'll see. Baleful Strix, oh man. Sometimes this format feels like Cube, things like Baleful Strix, the Rituals, Forest Storm, High Tide, Mesmeric Fiend. There's a lot of cards that really have that power level, and then you look at the creatures and it's Deft Blade Elite and other random stuff. We'll make it work. I think Baleful Strix is just a pick here. I love this card. And it's another creature for our Tradewind Rider to make friends with, and Grixis Control is not out of it. The fixing is pretty bad in this set, but that won't stop us from trying. Kezardrix, 4 mana, 4/4 first strike. That's a good rate. Then again, if you're killing your opponent's creatures, it gets a bunch worse. Kind of a good card in Control. I'm going to ignore it here because we're trying to be red and it's pretty heavy black. Just go for another Lonely Sandbar. Reanimate is neat, although it's very hard to find a creature good enough to bring back with this, I find, in this set. Brain Freeze, ooh, a foil counterspell. There is a Storm deck that you can work towards. I'm not so high on that. It's very powerful, but you need to know what you're doing. And the start we have going here isn't really great for Storm. Baleful Strix is good in Storm, for sure. But I want to get a bunch more creatures and make Tradewind Rider work. At the end of the day, this counterspell is my favorite counterspell art and foil, and just a good value in this format. So what else? Maybe we just take Brain Freeze. It's uncommon. I'm not a huge fan of these cards, although Expunge might just do the trick here. It has cycling for the Rift, and it kills any non-black, non-artifact creature, so Terror. Terror, not much more expensive, and has cycling. Okay, a good counterspell here, Power Sink. And Psychotog, is that one of the ways we're going to win this game? Exiling a bunch of things. We do have some cyclers, I guess that sort of makes sense. We could always bring back something with Scrivenger. And there are a lot of counterspells that are efficient in this format, so Power Sync gets a bit worse. That is really tough for me. You know what, I'm just going to go with Scrivenger here. Another cycler. A slow fetch land. The allied colors have the slow fetch lands at uncommon, and the enemy colors, like red, blue, and such, they have really bad slow pain lands. I'll take the sandbar here, although it's unclear if that's really what we want, but I put a premium on these cycling lands because they don't really take a spot up in your deck. Cloud of Fairies, yeah, that's a nice one with cycling, and has some combo-ish features with Baleful Strix and Counterspell, where you can untap the 2 lands and hold up counter magic, and Tradewind Riders to keep enough creatures on the board to do something with. Killer Whale and Mesmeric Fiend. That's another tough one here. I'm going to go with the Mesmeric Fiend. You can just take their removal or their giant thing, and it might be hard for them to unlock it. It's also just something we stick in play and use with Tradewind Riders. Shoot, Choking Tethers and another Fiend. The Fiends are annoying to play against. That's a bit of an understatement, but we'll rack up a few of those and be happy with it. Geez, 3 Fiends? That might be pushing it, but they kind of protect each other. Little 2-for-1s. Black seems open. Red seems the least open of anything. But I'm sure we'll figure something out. This pack, our rare is Nature's Ruin. Destroy all green creatures. The art is kind of neat. Must be some Ice Age card. Yeah, I do like that art. 1 Chill Blast. The Exhalation of the Grave. Great. And Blazing Spectre. Haste, you can attack your opponent's hand. Shoot, with Tradewind Riders, you return the last card and then discard it with Blazing Spectre. Nature's Ruin just could be Plague Wind against some players. That might be worth it here. Even if it's not in our main deck, just it's too powerful from the sideboard to ignore. Shout out to Radiant Archangel. I love this art. Probably just because her sweet sword. Anyway, I'm going to go with Nature's Ruin here because that might just be some free wins from time to time. Can pass Raphelos here. Don't think that's even legal in Commander anymore, this poor guy. And take, yeah, one of these bad pain lands. Caldera Lake, just to splash our Lightning Rift. Not much else in this pack that's interesting for a controlled player. Another Mesmeric Fiend. Drakestown Forgotten. Bunch of counters for creatures in graveyards. And then it can act as kind of a slow removal spell. I'm not sure that's what we want here. Maybe we want... I mean, if you're milling your opponent, I guess it gets better. But Mesmeric Fiend doesn't even mill them. Well, I'm not sure here. Circular Logic, though, that's one I like quite a bit. We don't have discard outlets yet. Maybe we'll get there. We'll see. Cloud Djinn is a nice finisher, but I like the control path we can take here. Tyrant's Choice. Now, what is this thing? It has a lot of text. Really what it comes down to is your opponent loses 4 life. If you trick them and you both vote death, then they have to sack a creature. But usually, you can always force them to lose 4 life, and usually they can just vote for that anyway. So that's how that works. Anyway, we're not the deck that's trying to kill them with reach. Spirit Mirror, the best removal spell ever printed for reflections. You can just kill all reflections at instant speed. And then, as long as it's on the battlefield. This pack's just bad for us. Shoot. We'll take a Skywing Aven because maybe that's good enough. What does Skywing Aven do? It gives us a discard outlet for our Circular Logic, but that's about it right now. Hard to kill. Starstorm is a nice removal spell. Cool looking too. X damage to each creature. The problem is it kills all of our 2-drops, and we have a lot of them right now. We can also cycle it. So if our opponent's killing a bunch of our creatures, we can cycle it, or if they're killing our creatures, we can use it to kill theirs. Otherwise, we might be able to use it to, you know, just cycle and draw a card. I'm going to take that here. Whoa, Mishra's Workshop. Not very good in our deck, unfortunately. Is there anything really good for us in this deck? Deep Analysis would be fine. I'm going to take the Workshop. I actually like this art a lot, and I think it's worth a ticket or two. Is it? Have they restricted this in Vintage yet? Probably. I'm not even sure we want the 4th or 5th sandbar. We probably do. If you really wanted to win at all costs, you'd take Sandbar or Deep Analysis here, but I'm going to go for the Workshop just to have it. Oh, it helps cost Suchi. Wow, look at the art on this thing. Even better in foil. Probably just our pick here. Our only creature that can actually attack and block. Then there's a Spark Spray, which would be good. Actually quite nice in the format. You see how good it is against us. Kills all our 2-drops. And then Nightscape Familiar to cast stuff for cheaper. I'm going to take this awesome looking Suchi. Forgotten Caves over another Power Sink. Just because cycling, and it'll help cast some of our red stuff. Ooh, another one. Yeah, I'm kind of going nuts with these cycling lands, but they will pay off for us, especially if we can pick up another Lightning Rift. Lurking Evil. Look at these old style cards. Pay half your life rounded up. They don't print cards that are this crazy anymore. Maybe they do, but that's a lot of life. Rounded up even, my goodness. You can't cast this at 1 life. That's a big drawback. I don't know what to take here. I guess we take a shadow creature just in case we need to block some. Cloud Djinn versus another cave. I'll keep taking these caves. You can see why it wasn't so bad to pass one. Aftershock. That's not a bad removal spell, all things considered. Putrid Imp, we'll pass that on. Foil Tyrant's Choice, I guess. Pack 2. Maybe we'll get lucky and open Time Walk or something in Pack 3. Maybe a foil Time Walk, foil Black Lotus. Don't hold your breath, but it's always a possibility. Who are we drafting against here? Whoa, Caleb. Caleb D. Didn't know they were there. Maximo Key, Frankispo, Septimoth, Bingo Banana, Hence Power. We didn't open a piece of power, I don't think, hiding down here. But we did open another Lightning Rift, and that's going to be great in our deck here. Just reserve that. Palancron can combo out. Oops, reserve Lightning Rift, please. And if you can do High Tide or something, you can storm off infinitely with this, but it doesn't look like our deck's too well set up to do that. Swords of Plowshares, arguably the best removal spell ever printed. It even kills Reflections and Geralf Gersted. Caleb Derwald there. Anyway, hope he's staying away from our cycling, because that's what we're going for in this pack. What is this? This has been a while. At the beginning of each upkeep, put a strife counter on this. Attacking creatures get +1/+0 for each strife counter. Blocking creatures you control get +1/+0 for each strife counter. So it's pretty much... What the heck? So your creatures get better blockers, and all attackers become better attackers. Well, that's weird. That is weird to keep track of, but hey, someone had an idea and they made it happen. I'm going to ignore most of these green and white cards though for the time being, because we will take a Spark Spray. It denies our opponents from having it, and it's actually quite nice as a cycler. Oh, Kunming Sleeping Dragon. Anthem on a creature. Very good. Not going to be good for us. However, we can take Waterfront Bouncer, although we don't have so many Madness cards. We only have one right now. We already have a good way of bouncing stuff. Yeah, this pack is not amazing for us. We could take a card that is good to discard, like Obsessive Search. And Lightning Rift is specific to cycling, unlike the new cards, which are phrased cycle or discard. I mean, cycling is discarding, but they clarify that point anyway. I don't know what to take here. Kunming, we'll pass that on to someone. There's nothing that really stands out. You know, we'll take a Chartooth Cougar. This guy's good in the late game, and if you need to cycle him, then you can. Any more cycling here? So we got a Cycle Tog. Or Psychotog. This art, trying to, you know, it reminds me a little of Dolly. Can you appreciate that? Like the guy with the melting clocks. Just the real, I don't know. You'd have to ask the artist if he was inspired by Dolly somewhat. But anyway, it does remind me of that. Just the way his hand is laying on the ground. And Dolly did draw some grotesque masterpieces. I'm just stalling here because I don't know what to pick. Famine? 3 damage to everything? That kills all our stuff? No. Rescind has cycling. Lonely Sandbar. We just don't need this many Lonely Sandbars. We gotta start filling our deck with playables. Chainer's Edict is fine. Maybe better than fine. It's funny to see this at common because it just kills 2 creatures. Living Death. I guess we could have been the whatchamacallit deck. The Reanimator deck. But we just don't have any good creatures to bring back. Bring back all our 1/1s. So I will instead take Keen Eye Aven, which is a creature and it has cycling, so that's 2 points checked off. Floodplain doesn't find everything we need. Mana War, that's a fine looking card. All of our creatures do something when they enter. That's kind of neat. So we're just going to attack our opponents with tiny creatures and then return all their permanents. Sure, I'm down for Mana War. Karn, Silver Golem. That's an exciting card. You can always chump block this thing safely. You block with a 1/1 and it survives. And it blocks as an 0/8. But if it hits your opponent, it's hitting them for 4. So, I don't know, it's a nice defensive card that wins in the late game. And if they have any Moxes, it instantly destroys them by making them 0/0s. And you can open Moxes. Or Moxen as the plural, if you're going to be technical. The late Symbiotic Worm. We need something to kill with our Nature's Ruin, so we'll pass that on. Although when we kill this guy, they get 7 insects. Shoot. I have to bounce all of them. Oh, what can we take here? I guess we take the Familiar, for lack of a better thing, and see how we're doing on mana. That's 23 cards. We can go down a few because we have so many cyclers. We might play 18 lands or even 19 in this deck. Krovikan Sorcerer. might be decent. Yeah, then we're definitely safe to play 19 lands. I guess Famine could be worse. I'm going to take Choking Sands, though. Famine's just too bad with the cards we have going on here. So we need a few cuts here. And some of those cuts are going to be... Killer Whale, probably need a way to win. Don't do this. I don't know what to cut, actually. Because we could use 2 cuts here. Aftershock does deal with anything. Rescind, we have enough effects like this that between Mana War and Tradewind Rider, we don't need too many more of that. I like the Mesmeric Fiends. Maybe 3 is too many. At this point, we can just start cutting things that we don't really need Karn, do we? Non-creature artifact. We can, if it was any artifact, we could make our Baleful Strix into a 2/2 by targeting it. But it's non-creature artifact. It might just not be very good. I could see it being good against a green deck with a bunch of 7/7s. But it's just a worse version of Suchi some of the time, and much worse if you're trying to attack and do damage. All right, so that'll give us room for 19 lands. And whoa, that's a lot of lands. But we have so many cycling lands, and those are going to count a lot of the time as spells. We can even bounce them back and cycle them later. So I will play 19 here. And what's our mana looking like? It looks like 9/6/6. So 7/6/6 lands. Sounds fair. We've got 3 red to bring in, 3 blue, 1 black, and then we have to choose between red and blue to cut for Caldera Lake. Looks like the safer option there is to cut blue. Or maybe even another black. Now we've got a lot of black 2-drops. I really don't want to play both Caldera Lakes because we'll need the mana often enough that we could hurt ourselves too much with this. In fact, it might just be good to cut the Caldera Lake and put in another land, but hey, I think we'll get by just fine here. So if we do a cycling count, it's at least 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cyclers, unless my math is off, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. And that's a lot of cyclers for the Lightning Rifts here. So if the games we draw Lightning Rift will be in pretty good shape. And our Mesmeric Fiends should let us survive until we can do that. Scrivenger could also count as a cycler. And again, Tradewind Rider can give us a few more cyclers. All right, Lightning Rift Grixis. Let's try it out. Round 1 versus Absurd Meridian, which is an absurd name. What can we do here? Do we want to land our Lightning Rift this early? We don't even have any cyclers yet. Because we could also save the Forgotten Cave until we draw red naturally. Yeah, it's a little too cute. Just play out one of our caves, and we can draw more caves. That would be the thing if we draw caves before any mountains. We'll have liked to have played this. Fallen Ascari, the best thing to do here. It does cost 1 colorless to activate the Rift. Yeah, the best thing I can see to do here is just play our Rift. So we'll have a way to kill the Ascari next turn, and then let's say they play a 3/3. We'll be able to edict that instead of this 2/2. Usually doesn't work that way. Oh no! Mesmeric Fiend, that can take one of our non-land spells. But they're in pretty bad shape because our cycler can just kill the Fiend to get back whatever. Let's see, how much is that going to cost? We'll have 1 mana left over. Chainer's Edict, sure. Oh, 2 can play at that game. But let's go ahead and cycle to kill the Fiend. Just to make sure we can do that. We're going to take a little more damage in the short term. But maybe we'll even draw something good. And it draws us closer to our land drop in our 19 land deck here. But you can see how easy it is to just want to cycle these lands instead of play them. So I wouldn't fault you for going 20 lands in this deck. Alright, the aggro deck over there, we should be able to run them out of resources. If I have my way here. We need another black source this turn though. Yes, we do. Flanking, can't block. No cyclers. Yeah, let's just... Oh no, I meant to do Chainer's Edict. Oh well. What have we got here? Aftershock, Death's Grasp. Aftershock's going to unlock the Fiend eventually. But Death's Grasp can do it right now. I really wanted to do Chainer's Edict just to take a couple less damage. What are you going to do? Tyrant's Choice, so we'll take 4 off this. Vote for Torture. Heck, if they vote for Death, we're going to vote for Torture. We'll just vote for whatever they don't vote for. And that'll make sure we take our 4 damage. Caldera Lake. That's worth playing. I'll tell you what else is worth playing. This Chainer's Edict. I'm not even positive that's right. Because Tradewind Rider blocks. It kind of just barely survives, and it uses up all our mana this turn. Not going to block with our Fiend here. The Death's Grasp can target players, so that's something we need to worry about. But we'll take 2. Yeah, it's getting real dicey here. And hope they don't draw red ever. Good. And we can keep them off red in their upkeep maybe by using Tradewind Riders. Oh, this will be a good turn. It should be anyway. Well, let's see. Thank goodness this can tap for colorless. We'll start with a Chainer's Edict. So bam, they have to sack a creature. And return target permanent to its owner's hand. Yeah, that's interesting. We don't have quite enough yet to use circular logic to counter anything. We'll need 3 things in our graveyard, and we just aren't quite there yet. In any case. Oh, no, wait, we're okay here. I think we're okay. Yeah, let's just cycle the Cloud of Fairies and then do 2 damage here and hope they don't draw red this turn. We get a land, which is fine. Might as well attack. Because what we don't want to see is them killing our Mesmeric Fiend and then getting back Death Grasp. But I guess in that case, the turn they use Death Grasp, we can just counter that. That'll be a lot easier to counter because they're not going to hold 3 extra mana to cast it. And they draw black anyway, so that's not too bad for us. Scrivenger to get back Chainer's Edict, and that doesn't quite work. 3/6, we don't need to... We know what they have in hand, 2 Aftershocks. And they can't kill us the turn they play it, so let's just go nuts here and try to kill them with our 2 damage a turn, but that'll be more soon. And the plan here is just to logic the Death Grasp. These are cute games. Cute games in this format. Let's see if we can get 7 damage. Let's just get 8 damage in here, and that should be able to kill them next turn. We'll hold our sandbar back as a shock. And a draw. Shock and draw. It's like a play on that operation into, what was it, Iraq or Afghanistan? Shock and awe. Some old school current events. All right, they're giving it to us. So good on them. We don't have to show them everything we have. I like our chances. Nature's Ruin, it's not the game for that. Bring in our 4th Mesmeric Fiend. Battle of the Fiends. Karn is okay. Karn's not great. Let's be honest. I'm just going to submit like this. You're like, why aren't you playing Killer Whale? That's a good one. We don't have room for it. And we don't really need it to win. I mean, you see how we just kind of win the long game with random 1/1s. That's how we wrote it up. Here we'll probably ping ourselves off our Caldera Lake. Library. That's a good one. Oftentimes it's better to be on the draw if you know you're going to have Alexandria, which of course you don't. But in any case, this next turn, they'll be drawing an extra card, and then maybe an extra card for every turn thereafter. If we can draw an untapped black source... Oh, they messed it up. No, they didn't, because they just get to play a land. Never mind. Complicated cards here. Yeah, we just need to play this and hold up our stuff. But we might be able to break it up a bit by using Mesmeric Fiend. I can't really see that working out too well. Maybe multiple Mesmeric Fiends. It's going to give us some time to deal with this if they don't play a creature out. Once they start playing cards, they might get under 7. So it'll be easier to deal with. Yeah. Fallen Ascari. That's not one we can kill here. So I think I just want to cycle the Sandbar. No, because we can save our cyclers for when they're a bit better. And we don't want to hit ourselves too much. So this turn we do have to hit ourselves a little bit to play Lightning Rift. Get that into play. The Edict is going to kill a 2/2 anyway. It's not going to get much worse. The thing is, we just have to survive until they deck themselves, and we'll have to side in a... If we lose this game, we'll side in some land destruction for the library. Yep, they're drawing a lot of cards off that library. What's this, 3 cards so far? Off the turn 1 library. That's a good play in Vintage, let alone this limited format. cleanup. So they, yeah, this turn they might have played it wrong. They might have been looking for a 2-drop to play there, but what you can do is if you have 7 cards, just wait until your opponent's turn to activate it. But it just became a loot, which isn't, it's by no means embarrassing. All right, so what's the play this turn? The play this turn is to cycle here, swoop in for the kill there. I'm getting behind in time too, which is one kind of danger in this format. Held up black there in case we could mesmeric fiend them. Trying to draw toward more land. A better play might have been to cycle the spark spray. That would have been a bit more painful. Yeah, hard to say. Are they going to hit us with a 4-drop here? That wouldn't be too bad. We could always make them sack it. Death's Head Buzzard. Yeah, I don't mind killing that. Don't mind killing that, but there's a few ways to go about killing it. Yeah, what a weird game. This time I am going to cycle the spark spray. In case we hit a land. And, ooh, another lightning rift. Yeah, so I'll just play the Forgotten Cave. And then every cycle becomes 4 damage. 2 damage and 2 damage. I don't even know what you call that. There was a card in Kaladesh that did it, but that was a sorcery speed thing. And this, you can even choose the same creature. So, it's absurd. Aftershock, alright, we'll probably get hit for 4 off this. And that's not great. But it'll all be worth it to get our Lightning Rift into play. Mountain cycling. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to use mountain cycling here. Ping the Beetleback Chief. Hopefully we have mountains left. I'm sure we do. Play a mountain, play Lightning Rift, and that stems the bleeding a bit and gets our second Lightning Rift. Oh no! Now they're cycling stuff. I always forget that it counts your opponent's cycling too. Of course, I don't play this format so much. Who has time to read the rules? You just play a format a bunch and that's how you learn. What do they take here? Not a, they probably take Starstorm, but they might take Kenai Aven. In fact, you know, whatever they take, we're gonna get it back. But I think they take Kenai Aven here because it's just 4 mana kill 2 things, as opposed to 5 mana kill 2 things with the Starstorm. To be fair, we could cast Starstorm for 3 to kill all of their things. And despite them drawing an extra card every turn, it looks like we're in a commanding position this game. Because it's almost like every card we draw is 3 cards, now that we have 2 Lightning Rifts in play. We just need some more lands. Only 19 lands in the deck. Yeah, they end up taking Starstorm. So I wonder if they have a way to protect the Fiend. Maybe they're not worried about that 1 extra mana we could have. Which is fair. But we're going to draw our mana this turn. 100%. And did they draw something they can play? Or do they have to discard again? I imagine they're just thinking about what to play, not having remorse over the fact that they can't play anything. Well, that was easy enough. They play a land, and they've got a big old Blazing Spectre with haste. Oh, great. We have to discard a card. I'll tell you what we'll discard. Aftershock, because we just don't have the life to, or the mana to warrant playing it. But it's all good. It's all okay here, I think. Because we cycle and then use Chainer's Edict. In which case we'll have that up. I want to leave both our blue up during the cycle. That doesn't make any sense because we have to use 4 mana anyway. We'll leave 1 blue up, I guess. Cycle here. Kill the Spectre. Kill Mesmeric Fiend. Yes. Oops. It wants to know what mana we're doing. Yes. And we draw a card. Baleful Strix. Oh wow, we did it perfectly. No problem. Baleful Strix, get him. Probably trading with a 1/1 goblin, but hey. We draw another land. And I'd rather lose the Strix here to a 1/1 than the Mesmeric Fiend, because that kind of undoes what we're trying to do. And we're still just on the back foot here because our life is so precious. If we had infinite mana every turn, I think would be okay. But we're not quite that powerful yet, despite all of our Strix. It's Beakren's Flesh and Bone, exposing the tender marrow of Dream. Hashtag deep. There they go, drawing more cards with the library. They're going to be so smart that they can't even win anymore after a while. And they are taking a bit more time on their turns, so we're catching up on time. Still not quite there yet. They've got 8 cards. I mean, they're going to be able to do something, but it is a real danger that they'll mill themselves. Like, there's almost no way we can cycle. Well, that's not true. We could cycle enough to catch up with their library. Keep the Starstorm in mind. Commando doesn't have haste, but they get us down to 10. So every little interaction like this is so annoying for us to deal with. It would be nice to be able to hold up our cycling on defense so we can respond to this nonsense. Animate dead? Oh, come on. Blazing Spectre. Ouch. At least we take 1 less damage. But what's the play here? Do we need this swamp, or can we let it go? I think we need the swamp. And the Edict prevents a damage. The Fiend isn't really doing much. I'm gonna let the Fiend go. That's a weird call. It's kind of close, but there's nothing good to get rid of there. Suchi. Is Suchi gonna bail us out here? Suchi's a good blocker. Of course, you never know what our opponent has to mess that up. Starstorm, cast it for 4, kill everything, reset the board. We don't even need to ping ourselves to do that. Yeah, why don't we do that? We'll just Starstorm here. I think they know we have Counterspell, maybe they don't. It's a real shame to cast it like this, but I am so scared for our life total. We could draw a card and kill 2 things, but that would be 1 more expensive, and it would take, let's see, we could Chainer's Edict after that, and then we'd take a hit of 1 and lose our Chainer's Edict. So it really just depends there. And they're down on library again, so maybe we've got a chance. There is a ghost of a chance here. Fiend keeps them off library for another turn unless they kill it. See what we're working with. If nothing else, we'll just get a nice look at their hand. All right, make that a bit bigger. They've got 2 Aftershocks, a Death Grasp, an Expunge, which does nothing, Predatory Night Stalker, which is pretty good, and I think their best answer is the Night Stalker, which we don't want to counter, so we'll take that. And then we'll save Counterspell for their actual Death Grasp, which we know about. And since we're saving it, let's see. 6, they're getting close there. Yeah, they're not going to do it this turn. So what I want to do is rock our Su-Chi here. Funny, just realizing that Su-Chi is actually pretty efficient in a deck with Lightning Rifts, because you don't usually get to use the mana on your combat when it dies. It'll disappear before the next main phase or whatever. But if you have instant speed stuff that costs colorless to activate, like cycling, it actually gets really good. So maybe that's the secret home for Su-Chi, although it's good in any deck. They're going to go kill the Fiend? No, they're going to Aftershock Su-Chi. Because they don't want us to have the mana, I guess. I thought they would have done it on Mesmeric Fiend and then made us sacrifice Su-Chi, but this works. I'll take it. Now we can get in a damage. Get wrecked. Alright, now we're going to draw all our lands that we could have used earlier. We did this a little out of order. But the good news is when we draw a chain of cyclers, we'll be ready to use them all. And the other good news is they won't be drawing another card every turn. They haven't played their planes yet. Here we go, Dark Hatchling. I guess that's fine, because it can't kill our thing, and we can make them sacrifice it. Sorcerer, I guess that's okay. Let's just start this dance by making them sack that. We get in another damage. And they're not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're not quite at the point where they can threaten Death Grasp, I don't think. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they get up to 8. Hope I'm not wrong about that. Whew. And if they do 8 to us, then Counterspell's dead until we can find another blue source. I imagine what they go for this turn is like Expunge on the Sorcerer, or Aftershock on Mesmeric Fiend, and then have us sack it. And all of that's fine for us. They play planes. See if they agree with the situation here. Whoa. What did they do? They killed a land? They killed our Pain land? I guess that's fine. But that means we need to find an answer here. 8. It looks like they know what we have, too. Discard a non-black card, draw a card. Oh, we needed blue there. Big time. The good news is they still need to draw land this turn to kill us. We can have them sack that Defiler. Alright, cross your fingers and toes. No land. Come on. Night Stalker? They found another Night Stalker. What does that mean? And they tapped wrong for it to boot? Let's give them back their Night Stalker, because they can't cast it this turn, and the Krovikan Sorcerer might be important to find a blue source. Expunge there. Tradewind Rider. It's getting real dicey, because they could just kill us at any moment by drawing a land. They'll have us sack this, get us to 6. And then we need to cycle into a blue source. Mana Vault? This is a real cube deck. All right, they got us. They got us. Kind of unfortunate. Death Grasp. And they end up at 20 life. Oh well. Rescind. How do we fight this nonsense? Looking for good options here. There aren't a ton of them. I think we're doing the right stuff here. There might be a tweak here and there that makes sense, but overall, we're doing the right stuff. Oh no. No Lightning Rift. Can't win. I'll go ahead and keep this though, and save the lands to cycle. That looks a bit weird. We might be okay to play the Lonely Sandbar turn 1. Maybe that's better, in fact. I've changed my mind. Let's play Swamp and cycle Barren Moor. We need to look for something to do. Well, let's look at their hand. Maybe they have something to do. Wow, looks like they have a lot of stuff to do, but not fast lands to do it. Barren Moor, cycle land. All of these come into play tapped. They can't play anything this next turn. Expunge doesn't do much. Death's Head Buzzard is gonna kick in fairly early. Let's just take the Buzzard. See what they do here. Probably Salt Flats, maybe not. Barren Moor. All right. We can just cycle everything. I'm not sure if that's right. Also playing Forgotten Cave kind of makes sense because we don't have anything else to do this turn. We'll probably save Starstorm for later in the game. It is an instant, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play Forgotten Cave because we know we'll need that later. And then maybe we just go Tradewind Rider this next turn, although that does die to Expunge. See what happens. It's going to be Fallen Ascari Salt Flats this turn. Yeah, so that's a couple things we knew about. Chainer's Edict. That's right on time. Get out of here. I want to save these cyclers, but at the same time, we don't have any reason to save them right now. Just churn through our deck a bit more. How nice it is to have your lightning rifts on time. Oh, what if they draw? What if they say black here? That'd be great. No, our Star Storm. It's not like they saw it either, so they were just taking a shot in the dark. Writing down our hand, although they don't need to, it'll appear here. Goodbye, Starstorm. We can get it back with Scrivenger. I guess that's the silver lining. Aftershock. This can kill a land, right? That's neat. But it can't be more important than getting Lightning Rift into play. So we're going to start taking damage here, and that's pretty annoying. And we know two of their cards, Defiler and Expunge. We don't have to run into Expunge yet. And if we draw a Cycler, we can start killing things. The Defiler, can't kill that yet. Fiend. Fiend grabs an Expunge, I guess. Not much else to do, I'm afraid. It's that or Aftershock something, like the Defiler. That might be our best bet here. It's going to be a while before we can take it down. We'd certainly take a hit of 3 off it anyway. So that's out of the way. Expunge doesn't have a target. They can always cycle it, but then they risk us getting something better. They could cycle it before we have Lightning Rift mana up. Yeah, this will work out. If we force them to use Expunge here, they might just cycle it now. Yeah, that's a worry. No, they're going to Aftershock instead. Oh, they killed our island. Would you look at that? Now we can't cast blue stuff. Oh, please cycle. Ah, they're not going to fall for it. If they cycle, we get to rift their Ascari. They have nothing left, though, so we're both in top deck mode here. We're trying to top deck to any blue source, or frankly, any cycler. Trading hits of 2. That's not a blue source, not even close. Well, it's kind of close, but not in a good way. Well, we know what we have. We don't need to know what they know we have. We know they know we have everything. Don't do anything. At least let us get the first good card. Oh, come on, Goblin Settler. We're gonna we didn't need that. We didn't need that anyway. Shoot. We just have to cycle this, I think, and then pay this to survive a bit longer. Spark Spray, that'll be good to cycle eventually. I don't want to trade either of these because they just get their stuff back. Death's Head Buzzard. So we can't attack into that or block it for that matter. Goblin Settler. Surprisingly good in this format. An overcosted, I just don't want to block it, an overcosted Stone Rain, but you get a 1/1 Goblin for it. Beetleback Chief, yeah, things are getting real annoying right about now. I kind of want a Mana War because that gives us a blocker for some stuff. And then we can hold up, I'll just get the Goblin token here, and we can hold up Spark spray, although I really don't want to use that. I'd much rather cycle it. Come on, stop drawing stuff. Ouch. Ugh, there goes our Man of War. This is just the business, isn't it? All right. All right, we'll try to survive such-wise. The thing is, either of the things they get back, we can deal with easily enough, as long as we're alive when they use them. Okay, that's a good start. We get to kill both of their things this turn. Mountain cycle here. Bam, kill that thing. Yeah. Get our mountain, play our mountain. Cycle spark spray. Bam, kill the Beetleback Chief. Draw a card. We did it. We got there. Now, they have, I forgot to keep track of it, they have Death's Head, Buzzard, and Expunge. That's what we know about. There's the Buzzard. The dang Buzzard. And there's very little we can do about it. Yeah, we don't have cyclers in hand, so Suchi doesn't do much. Let's just get Scrivenger and return some kind of cycler here. So what's the best one? Spark Spray's a really cheap cycler. Yeah, and we're almost certainly using the cycling mode rather than the Starstorm mode. So I'd much rather pay 1 than 3 on the front end of that. We're at 4. Death's Grasp is lethal at any time here. Is this the turn? Don't do it to us. Bam, 6. 6 to the face, okay. Cool match. Sad, tragic loss, but we'll get there. I should mention the only prize worth winning in this 19 lands, come on, in this nonsense is 3-0, but you still prize out a bit if you go 2 and 1. So if we go 2-0 from here, we're in good shape. What is our play? Tell you what our play is. We know we're drawing an island, so we're gonna rock our Cloud of Fairies into play and then cycle the sandbar, I guess. Don't even care about this Findorn Elves. Not sure that's our best mode, but hey, we'll work with it here. Expunge, that's going to be useful for... Oh, we're against a green deck, so we get to bring in our really good stuff. What's that card even called? It's not Famine. Nature's Ruin. Die, Nature. Yeah, swing in, I dare you. Okay, another source of mana here. Not the right color, mind you, but whatever. Play our mountain here. That's pretty easy, and we will hold up Circular Logic. I don't care about that 1 damage. Yeah, it would have been better to attack. But now they don't get to attack. Alright, cycle this. And we get our black, so no need to cycle the sponge. Or it's not a sponge, it's an X sponge. It used to be a sponge. My mistake. This is a regular old fiend here. What is this? Fact or fiction? Ah, takes so much brain power to solve these puzzles. Brainstorm, that's gone in the other pile. Sudden Strength. And 2 lands. Gross. Oh, the mongrel would survive our expunge. Did you look at that? Whatever. I think this is a decent split. It should be a tough call. I'm a little more afraid of the wild mongrel double land pile. But no, they take the 2 spell pile, which is worth about... They're both worth about 3 cards. And then we'll steal one of those guys. Brainstorm, Penumbra Worm. 5. They have a million lands in hand, so they didn't want that pile for sure. Penumbra Worm, huh? We're just going to be able to counter that. So why don't we take Brainstorm so they can't hide it from us? Yeah, that was the way to go, let me tell you. Yeah, Brainstorm's a pretty good answer to the Fiend, I guess. And now we can just attack like we should have been doing all along. Yeah, bring it on. You want your Brainstorm back? You're going to have to send your elves in. I'm not giving it back, though. It's mine. And they don't have a blocker now for our Mesmeric Fiend. There's one of the forests. Cloud of Fairies. That's getting expunged. Now they can block with the Cloud of Fairies. Well, shucks. 5, 6. They'll have the thing next turn to cast. So we need to hold up mana for that. We can't just diddle around here. We just have to hold everything back. Expunge is a nice answer to Sudden Strength. It targets a creature and they draw cards. So if we kill the creature, they don't get it. Here's big bad Penumbra Worm, but we can't let that resolve. So as long as we have stuff in our graveyard, it'll counter it. Cool. Good job, us. We did it. So now we take their other card, their only other card. Mesmeric Fiends are so annoying to deal with. Fyndhorn Elves doesn't do anything. Brainstorm practically does nothing here either, but we're not going to give them the satisfaction. You want to trade? Sure, they'll trade. I don't care about trading. Trading's good. Here comes another big one. Arrogant Worm. Well, we have an answer to that. And there's not much else we could draw to make our cycling better, or good enough to kill that, so we'll just run it out there. Alright, stalemate time. I think they have a forest left. Oh, so they must have a blocker. I guess they're ahead in the race now. They've got tempo on us. Well, now we just don't know what they have. Tradewind Rider, so much for tempo. Oh, what if they have a flash creature? If they drew a flash creature this turn, then good on them. But I think that's not the case. And now we can just start returning their permanents once a turn. It's not great, but it's okay. Caves. Let's see what we can get here. I don't know. We could start attacking for 1, but then they attack for 2, and then we get in a weird cycle where we can't do much. Start casting your Fyndhorn Elves again. It's got to be pretty annoying to play against a Tradewind Rider. It's not like it's doing much here. Play it again. Tap the other one. Bounce the other one. Su-Chi. That's my favorite chi. Might as well attack with our rider now. Because what else is it doing? I guess it could bounce whatever 9-drop they play. Now we just attack with Su-Chi instead. But we have that one turn where Su-Chi can block. Even this thing can attack. Alright, Mana War. Get in there. We bounce this Fyndhorn Elves. And then we bounce this Fyndhorn Elves and attack for 5. I hope they don't have their flash creature again. I'm really playing with fire by attacking with this Mesmeric Fiend. I'm asking for it. But are they just going to pass to us? No, they have to redeploy their creatures. That'd be really sketchy if they didn't, because it means they're drawing towards some like wrath effect. Alright, this turn it's just attack with these two, and if they try to team up on Mana War, the Tradewind Rider has its back. Right? Right. Berserk. Okay. This is not gonna work how they want it to. I don't think. I didn't read it fully. But the problem is we're gonna get in 7 damage. 7, 8, 9. And then bounce our own guy. Right? So it doesn't have to die. Nice. You didn't think that through, did you? Because Berserk can be used as a removal spell, just like that. But only if it's not riding the winds. Come on, not the perfect answer, please. And that's not a good answer to Tradewind Rider either. Because I'll tell you what, Chainer's Edict. There's no reason to show them that, right? They know about this onboard trick. They know we can attack for, with 2 lethal creatures. So the only thing that gets us there is Tangle, and then they survive another turn. Alright, I cannot wait to ruin nature. That's all I want to do. Karn's Silver Golem might be good in this matchup. What does it get rid of? Penumbra Worm or whatever that thing is. And they have no removal in their deck. They might have some bounce, so the Mesmeric Fiends get a bit better. Lightning Rift isn't even that amazing in this matchup. Choking Sands. Did I forget to bring in Choking Sands against that one deck? Probably. Oh well, they didn't draw their good land anyway. Krovikan Sorcerer. That is good if we get flooded. A little slow for this matchup though. And the lands themselves kind of do the work. We're not going to discard a cycle land. And we can use a lot of land in this deck, so sure, it gets the chopping block. Keep. And doesn't look like much, but it'll get better. Ooh, Mesmeric Fiend. Nothing to do with it, though. We're just going to cycle this Cloud of Fairies to draw towards black. Oh, yes, please. Pass it here. Threaten some kind of counterspell or mana drain. They don't know we don't have it. Yeah, just pass. Ooh, attacking first. Lightning Rift. Now that is what I wanted to see. That is just about right. We don't even have to ping ourselves with it. We're just going to play Lightning Rift. And if somehow they have us discard with a spell on the stack, we can counter it. So here it comes. No. Oh no! Oh god. I'd probably miss this in real life unless I was really thinking about the format. But Magic Online reminds you that, hey, you have a trigger because your opponent cycled a card. Yes, please. I would like to kill their elf. Their graveyard is all foil all the time. It doesn't mess around. Frantic search. Card disadvantage, but also card quality. A lot of involved cards in this set. Involved is a good word for it. Huh. I don't even want to do anything here. I don't want to play land. I don't want to do anything. Maybe we cycle to find a land. And just not ping them. Because the 2 damage doesn't matter. Huh. I'm gonna do it again. This time I will ping them. Why didn't I just play it? No, I know the reason. We're looking for black mana. So we do need to dig there, and actually not finding 2 lands in a row means it's probably a good time to do it. Logic, Chainer's Edict, we're gonna be okay in the short term here. I want to make sure to use some black mana though. Yeah, let's see what they have going on and then we can make better decisions. They sure have a lot of random junk. As a turn we can take Elvish Aberration off the table. Nice. How does Berserk work? Before the combat damage step. Uh-huh. Oh, destroy it if it attacked this turn. I'm trying to find the clause where it's like, oh, you can just do it before damage to a creature that didn't attack and it kills it. No, it has to have attacked, but then it dies at the end of turn. Really, I like this card. I think they did a good job with designing this card, although it is a bit too powerful maybe. What was this, the last turn? We took the thing, and the swamp is something they got off the Tusker. Okay, I think I'm caught up now. Pass. So they were going to run out the Aberration this turn, now they can't. Drew an Elves, and they're playing an island. So down to 3, we know what they are. Forest, Berserk, Sudden Strength. Su-Chi, just in time. Just in time. What's that black for? Yeah, makes you wonder. We need to draw more stuff. The Strix. Get the Strix in play. And 4, they could be doing 8 to us next turn between Sudden Strength and Berserk. Something to watch out for. But they don't know. We could have any cycler here. Well, any 1-mana cycler. Funny that they're not attacking there, because they do have the backup of sudden strength. They play a forest. One unknown. Finally, land. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough one. What if we use Mesmeric Fiend first? I mean, we're bound to get something. I'm thinking of using Chainer's Edict, but then they could just use Sudden Strength as a cantrip. Oh, in that case, we should have done Chainer's Edict first. Fact or Fiction? Counter unless they pay 3. That doesn't work. And again, we'll get this... Oh, geez. Return X target cards from your graveyard to your hand. Discarding X cards. We just don't want to give them cards for that. Maybe we'll give them 1 here. Yeah, this is this is fine, I guess. I think they do nostalgic. They take Nostalgic Dreams for sure. No, they didn't. What kind of... Am I crazy? They just discard 2 cards and get back like Penumbra Worm and Fact or Fiction. What are they, nuts? Oh, we could just take it with Mesmeric Fiend. I always forget that triggers on the stack. And now they've got Brainstorm, which we could counter, but who cares? They'll tuck something away. It doesn't matter to us. They could tuck away Penumbra Worm. But they can't tuck away everything. There's Brainstorm. They have to leave Sudden Strength, Berserk, or Penumbra Worm at the very least. All right, let's see what they're left with. So they don't want to... The Smokestack. I'm not too worried about that. Let's take the Sudden Strength. And then what? Chainer's Edict is not getting much better. And it puts a card in our graveyard, so eat that. Chainer's Edict. And they could Berserk our Mesmeric Fiend. That's not great for us. It's just 1 damage, so I don't care about that. Now they're thinking, do they Berserk this? Yes, they do. They want to get rid of this Baleful Strix. No problem. So here's big old Penumbra Worm. What? Saproling Burst? There's a card. Create a Saproling token. And this could be a big Saproling token. So we need something that can fight it. Actually, let's just hold up our stuff here. I think they have to make a 3/3 here so the Lightning Rift doesn't deal with it. They're going to make a 6/6? Oh, and it keeps getting smaller. Oh, I get it. I get it. So now the 5/5s become 4/4s. What a weird little card over there. But I want to counter this Penumbra Worm if we can. Hey, that hurts. Hey, man. What are you trying to pull here? Okay, we'll take 8. 8 plus 6 plus 2. We're not winning that race, but maybe we can get Karn into play after countering some of this nonsense. Okay, this is the one we have to counter. And then do we cycle Spark Spray? Sure. Get him. Counterspell. There we go. I think it's time. I think it's time we show them true power. Now that we have Counterspell backup for their smokestack, which we don't need to kill. We're doing alright here. I'm pretty sure they played that land, so they have smokestack. Uh-oh. Oh no. I really bamboozled myself here. Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, see, I just forgot they had this thing in play. But we're making it smaller, bit by bit. Now they only have a 2/2. And I'm happy they got that back instead of the... sorry, they got back the 4/5 instead of anything else. We can just counter that or kill it or make them sack it. I'll just counter it here. Smokestack. I don't care about smokestack. Doesn't do anything until our next turn. Alright. Forgotten Cave. Cool. Cycle this, kill the Sapperling. Draw a card. Hopefully a land. If not a land, then something. In fact, yeah, let's just use the Fiend to get rid of their big dude. So many Fiends. Whatever else they have, yeah, it's just the Aberration. And we can counter whatever they draw. I don't want their Sapperling Burst to kill our thing here. And let's read Smokestack. Sacrifice a permanent for each soot counter on it. So what they could do here, well, yeah, they don't have to sack anything. They put a soot counter on it. And then next turn they can sacrifice Sapperling Burst, but they have enough lands that it doesn't matter. It's just going to be too slow against us, though. And they drew something good. Counter Cloud of Fairies. Aftershock. We'll just have to sacrifice, let's say, this lake. That might have been wrong. And then play Suchi. And I'm pretty sure we're safe to attack here, because they could make a little dude, but it would be a 0/0. Yeah, they're stacking it right. It's weird to design a card like this, that the only thing you have to do is remember like which trigger to place first. There's a few things like that. Okay, now we have to sack 2 things. Before we do that, let's cycle. Kablam. And then, yeah, we'll use our red. And we'll sacrifice. What else do we have? Let's just sacrifice one of each here. And then cycle this guy. Play some more permanents. And we're going to have just enough to kill him next turn, I think. Yeah. Easy game, because we can respond to the sacking by tapping out for Starstorm and a cycling, even if they have, and a Lightning Rift trigger, even if they have some plethora of blockers. God, these games are nuts. Cube Light. Blast Derm. That's not going to do it. Let's just kill him in our upkeep here. Actually, we could have done this. I guess they're conceding. We could have done that by sacking Su-Chi and using that mana. But we got it. So 1-1. We'll try to bring it home and win the last one. Round 3 versus Thizj. Or Thijz. Hard to pronounce, but we'll go with it. Yeah, and we want to find black mana here pretty soon, so I'm just going to cycle the sandbar. Looks like somewhere Jace would end up. Quite there, but we're hitting our land drops, and that's fine. The mirror match here. Oh wow, it really is. Don't, oop, there. It could still be the mirror match. Sorcerer, really just a looter. An expensive looter. Slightly better because you can discard a black card and get card advantage out of it. Or is that how it works? Yeah, draw 2 cards, discard one of them. That's pretty good. Now we've done it. This is the control player's dream. Oh no, it's not, because we don't have double blue. Oh, yeah, so let us discard Mesmeric Fiend. Oh, this is working really well. I don't know why I'm complaining here. What? Okay, now we can complain. What are we supposed to do here? We draw 2 cards and neither of them are lands? 19 land deck? Discard one of them. Discard a non-black card, draw a card. Okay, I don't get this guy. He's like a rummager. Goodbye, Scrivenger. And then we're just gonna cycle Starstorm to draw land, which will definitely draw land. Yes, play it. All right, give up the 2 best cards in our deck to get a Baron more. Oh no, the control player is having their way with us. Okay, so it really is just rummaging, or like super rummaging. I'm not even sure discarding a black card is better here. You see more cards. Digs a bit deeper. I'm gonna try Baleful Strix here. This player's trying to do some counter magic. Oh no. Play a land. And the reason I'm doing that is because they could have the knot, and I don't want to run into that right away. Rift. So does this resolve? Please let it resolve. Yes. I'm just going to hold back. We'll probably discard Mana War. Rummage that away. We've hit our land drop, so we don't need to do it now. But they just don't have any creatures, so who cares about Mana War? Fiend's better. Yeah, Fiend's way good here. Because we drop that, protect it with Counterspell, and if they really have nothing, we might drop Su-Chi. Or use Tradewind Rider to start bouncing Baleful Strix. A lot of little interactions here that I didn't even necessarily think of when building the deck. But quite powerful. You know what this is? Oh yeah, here it is. Storm. Just your typical lousy Storm deck. Boy, do I love some Storm deck. Paralyze. Tap it, it doesn't untap. Sure. Expunge, destroy a thing. Putrid Imp, don't care. Brain Freeze. We can take Brain Freeze. There's not much they can do about it. They can't kill Mesmeric Fiend. And Brain Freeze just wrecks us. That said... Oh, what does Expunge do? Non-black, non-artifact creature, so Su-Chi is safe. Alright, get out there, Su-Chi. Yeah, we just don't need to counter anything here. Bam, get him. And Paralyze, brush up on this thing. You tap it, it doesn't untap. It's kind of like a removal spell, but they get to untap it for some mana. Okay. 7, a couple hits like this and they're dead. They must have another win condition, but we're going to counter the turnabout, I think. Let's see, another land there. So they've got one unknown. They got to go off pretty soon here. Because we're going to cycle. Hit him here. Hit him where it hurts. Get our last mountain. It doesn't really matter that we get our mountain there. It's just some more damage. Play it. They might have to expunge the sorcerer here. I'm trying to count damage real quick. It's just 7. And if they don't want to lose to a single cycler, they have to kill our Krovikan sorcerer. And so they do. And they're down to 6 cards after that. They could have tapped all our stuff, but they want to go for the win. There's one unknown. Cycle in response. It's almost lethal. If we get a cycler, we could win off this. Otherwise, we might counter the expunge with our foil counterspell. Love this thing. And if they don't have another expunge or anything, they lose right here, right now. Nice. Okay, Storm. So all the Mesmeric Fiends are coming in. This is a deck you have to give some serious respect to. Nature's Ruin coming in, no. Rescind? No. I think that's that's our best bet. Just put in another Mesmeric Fiend and hope they don't block it. Starstorm, they don't really have creatures. They could have little 1/1 regenerates. Logic. The counter spells and circular logics are pretty good. It might be time to take out Starstorm. Everything else just looks a bit better. Even Trade Wind Rider, if you can get ahead on it, you can put them off lands. And that's pretty good. Mana War is fine. Apparently the Sorcerer was pretty good as an aggro dude. Looks good. Looks like a keepable hand against this. This All-Star Lake, just one in the deck, has been smoothing out our mana so much. Chainer's Edict is still good in this matchup. There's a little Nightscape Familiar, something like that, that makes their spells cheaper and is a really powerful Storm card. We can catch it here in 2 ways, Spark Spray or the Edict. I think it's better to Edict it. Oh, great. It's him to Turok. Well, we lose two of our best cards. That wasn't too bad. Our hand was kind of resilient to that effect. You can always get the expunge back. Expunge, that's a cut we need to make. It has cycling. So it works out. What do we do here? We need to find a threat. So I want to start cycling things. Okay. Mesmeric Fiend's a threat. We just can't play it that turn, so might as well keep cycling. Tyrant's Choice. Well, how about death? We'll sack a creature. Oh well. Not a bad one for Storm to play. Fiend, take their only win condition. Tendrils and Expunge. Yeah, we'll take the Tendrils. They've got Expunge, which can't kill anything, and 2 swamps. They play a swamp. Counterspell. How about Cycle Spell? Hitting land is fine here. And then playing land. And then Mesmeric Fiend. I bet they cycle Expunge here, depending on what they drew. But that is a scary prospect, because what if they draw their next Brain Freeze? Oh, they lucked out. Just 3 lands? I mean, how lucky is it to not draw anything good for a while? Not that lucky. Just gonna keep hitting ourselves here, but we've got their Tendrils of Agony, so that's a big game for us. And they can only draw 1 card at a time, so I'm not too afraid of holding up counter magic here. Even if they get Tendrils back this turn, we're out of range. Unless they really go off with like Ancestral Vision and Time Walk and Mox Lotus and such things. No, they've got their own Mesmeric Fiend. But we've got the answer. They pretty much have to take Chainer's Edict here. And the only thing I care about is Counterspell. So if they take Counterspell, we get to get it back. And it doesn't matter anyway. We can get Spark Spray back with Scrivenger. They've got their own Baleful Strix. Not a problem. Cool. So we attack here with a Fiend. Hopefully they block with the Strix. They might just not block, but I guess they're ahead in the race for what it's worth and for now. But we're going to bring back Spark Spray as a cycler and an answer to all of their creatures. They've got their swing. We don't know anything they have left. Draw some more Mesmeric Fiends. Ooh, Cloud of Fairies. That's quite nice here. Pretty sure it resolves. But that means we don't have to do anything too cute here. Do we give them back Tendrils? Ooh, I really don't think that's the play. But I want to kill them at some point, so let's unlock our little creature here. Might as well cast our Edict, because it doesn't get any better. And they can start using it to block our Scrivenger. So this is just the fastest way to kill them. They're crippled. They don't have one of their win conditions. We have Counterspell. Well, this gets interesting. Because if we cast Counterspell, their Brain Freeze gets better. For some reason, you can't tell how many cards you have in your deck when you're being targeted by something. But I think we just let them take it. Maybe they choose black anyway. I think they know we have Counterspell, but whatever. No big deal. How would they have known we have Counterspell? Maybe just from the last game. So it was a good guess. Ooh, Circular Logic, Krovikan Sorcerer. That's a combo, but it's a combo we don't need to take advantage of here. Well, let's do the math. They're at 11. 6. I think we just want to attack with everything this turn. And then counter whatever they do. Again, unless they're leaving up 2 mana for Brain Freeze, then countering their first thing just makes it more storm for them. That should be it. A fun tournament. I've been having a lot of fun in Vintage Masters here. Mainly it's just fun to open the packs to see if you get something cool. Every pack has something cool because it's not a bunch of cards you typically play with. I will counter that because that makes it a little too difficult to win. Goodbye, Jellyfish. And if they mill us for 9, who cares? Brain Freeze away. Because what they could do is bounce like our Mesmeric Fiend, and yeah, that should be enough to kill him. So thanks for watching. We'll get 2 packs here, and that will be on our way to drafting this again.